just a bloodbath all month, just pretty much every day red. Now I think that's a point where a lot of people think it's, time to throw in the towel and quit. The very next month, I think I just got sick of it. I got sick of losing. And I said, I'm not going to do the stupid things I've done that have gotten me to this point. I started grinding at the beginning of 2017, lost consistently for 10 months till the end of October of 2017, and turned it around in November 2017, and have been profitable ever since.
And how much are you up to now in profits?
Almost $200,000.
$200,000 in what? So like under 2 years?
Just 8, yeah.
Roughly?
Yep.
And how did you turn it around? Because a lot of people are in this situation. First month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. Like Tim Grittani took 9 months. What happened in month 10? Or month 11?
I think, and month 10 was my worst month ever. Started off losing little and little and little. And then for like the 3 months leading up to the final big red month was like break even or positive just a little bit. So I was starting to think, I'm getting this, like I'm right on the edge of getting successful. Like I'm going to do this now. And then in October 2017, I said my worst month ever, like way worse than any other month I had.
How much did you lose?
$1,600, and my normal losing month was like $50, $100, and my winning month was $50 or $100.
Yeah.
But I was like, kind of stopped the bleeding, so I was really excited. And then for that to happen, it was pretty much just a bloodbath all month, just pretty much every day red. And now I think that's a point where a lot of people think it's time to throw in the towel and quit. But the very next month, I think I just got sick of it. I got sick of losing. And I said, I'm not going to do the stupid things I've done that have gotten me to this point. So the only way to, move forward from here is to eliminate everything I'm doing wrong, just do the only things I'm doing right. And lo and behold, things started to work out.
And how much did you make in like month 11, month 12?
I made like $3,000 in November of 2017, then like $8,000 in December, and then $20,000 in January.
Damn! So it took you having your worst month to really crystallize, like, I don't want this feeling anymore. Let me change that once and for all. So the small losses, you're like, okay, this is annoying, but you didn't have enough pain to be like, let me change. Then when you had the pain, so sometimes this is what's so confusing. Sometimes you have to take like one step backwards, not like because you want to, like, oh, let me just lose big. You didn't want to, but you recognize, okay, I'm losing big. Now let me not do that. So you take one step backwards and then you go like 20 steps forward.
No, for sure. It's just like I got to that breaking point, and it was like all the break even and little losses, they didn't hurt as much. But when that happened, it was like big changes need to happen now because this can't happen anymore. Like you're running out of money, your mental capital's getting drained. I'm also going through my life and like don't have a real job, no money's coming in. Like things got to change. Like,
what did your friends and family, were they like month 7, month 8? Like, what are you doing, dude?
As it dragged on and all my friends and everyone my age had jobs, it was starting to get starting to feel the pressure. And the only one who really believed me was my dad, and now he tells me back then he was starting to get worried, but he wasn't telling me back then.
Yeah.
And, how much did you lose today was a normal comment for my family and stuff.
Oh, my God.
And, that gets to you eventually, and when you turn it around, you'll be able to show those people up. And, yeah.
And now how much you've been making? $20,000 in a month? What's your biggest month so far now?
$77,000.
$77,000 in 1 month.
And then $5,000 fees, so like $70,000.
It's crazy.
I was humbled in March.
Yeah.
When after my big hot shot.
And you've had some big losses too.
Yeah. I guess not a huge loss. It was a million paper cuts added together on EMIS. And we were talking about how good I am at long. This was a short trade, something that I don't specialize in.
Yeah.
Got overconfident. Didn't break any rules because I cut my losses. I didn't do anything, add to a lose or anything.
Yeah.
I just oversized on a stock not worthy of that kind of size with a spread too wide.
EMIS was not that liquid if I remember correctly.
It was like 200,000 in a day maybe.
Way too illiquid.
And I was trying to take 10K.
Way too much.
And the spread's already like 770 by 790. So when you take the trade, you're already down $2,000.
Yeah,
which doesn't really
what
make
were
sense.
you trying to do? Were you trying to talk him
it
out
was
of
a
it?
pump. It was up like $3 or $4 a share.
I was yelling at him for taking that much size but he already had taken a big loss by getting trapped on like a fake red move. So he said, okay, now I need to use more size to make my money back. And that kind of game you just really can't play.
No, when you take a big loss, you get smaller. You don't get bigger. That's like revenge trading 101.
Yeah.
So you think about like looking for like a piece of wood somewhere and just hitting him over the head and then like, closing
save me
out.
some money.
Yeah, right?
No,
and he wakes up in the hospital 2 weeks later and he's like, thank you.
Well, the problem was the month before I'd gotten rewarded for that behavior on KLMN, a pump.
Yeah.
That ran from like 2 to like 11.
Yeah.
And I got in some trouble on that one early. It got the skull, and then I was short,
Skull
and then
and
it
crossbones?
gapped up and ran for another 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
So I'd already taken like 10 or 11,000 losses on that. But on the day that it did actually crash, I was there and I was right, and so I netted like plus 11 or 12,000. So I got rewarded for that.
So that's a bad lesson.
It was.
Bad lesson.
And this is the thing. Some of you guys are making money using bad strategies, and it's going to catch up to you. You cannot just judge a strategy based on how much money you make because you're taking excessive risks.
Yeah.
You keep playing with fire. Like I know a lot of people, especially a lot of short sellers these days, like these stocks always come down. Let me just short. Yes, they do come down, but you can't control the risk in the meantime, and you might blow up. Yep. And you might have a lot of fees in short selling. So right now, I barely short sell, right? Yep. Like I like dip buying. I like buying morning panics. I like buying breakouts. I like buying first green days. What do you think people should do, like if they're in a bad situation? Because both of you guys have been in bad situations, money-wise and trade-wise. Like, let's say someone watching this is in a bad trade right now. What would you do if you're in a bad trade?
Immediately close the position out and turn your screens off and walk away.
What would you do?
The same thing. I mean, thankfully I never went through a situation like you because I would just cut and accept it. My problem is I kept going back for more.
Yeah.
But I would leave. If you're trading like that or it's a mistake, or get out of the trade and leave. Like shut it off. Maybe leave for a week. Like let the pain sink in. Let it hit you emotionally because time will heal that wound.
Yeah.
And you'll forget about it. And
yeah.
you just kind of need to let that happen and then come back with a fresh mind.
And this is what, like, some of you guys messaged me, like, okay, I didn't know your rules. I'm in this position. What do I do? Should I keep holding? Maybe it'll come back. And for me, those losses is not even about the money. It's the mental, repercussions. Because you're in that loss. It's like a cancer. You need to cut that cancer out.
And you can't trade. Like, there's going to be another setup right down the line. Like, this setup is not worth it to risk your entire account.
No one trade matters enough to risk your entire account. There's always going to be another
Yeah.
trade, whether it's a long, whether it's a short, whether it's CBD or Bitcoin or some new technology. It might not be the next day. This is what people are afraid of because, with penny stocks, there's not always a perfect play every day, right? Like, how often do you guys trade?
Too much.
In February, we were trading like every day because there was a lot of plays.
There was a lot there.
I've tried to tone down my trading in the summer and basically just size down. Like, if I can risk $50 to $100 to make like $200 or $300, like I'm happy with that. But in February, there's more plays, so you can risk like $200, $300, $400 to make like a couple grand, $3,000.
But this is trading. You can modulate.
Yeah.
You don't have to buy 1,000 shares every time. Like if it's a new strategy or if it's a slow market, you can buy 200 shares
to the market
instead of 1,000. It's not black or white, and you don't even have to trade. This is another thing. So if you have patience, for me, I'd actually rather people undertrade than overtrade. I think a lot of people are like, okay, I don't know the patterns. Let me try this. Let me try this. Let me try this. Let me try this. And
you're gonna do that paper trade just to kind of see what you're gonna do and like how everything works. But when you
don't get the emotional education with paper trading.
True.
At least you still get some practice though, seeing how fast these stocks move.
Yeah, definitely.
Are you surprised at how fast this stuff moves?
What, in like listed land?
Just like all these stocks, because we're trading the most volatile stocks in the market.
Especially when you go from like a background in OTC to like right now, the last few months I spent diving into NASDAQ longs to learn them more, and the tape is just so different.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
It's
I love
all over the
OTCs.
place.
Trust me, I'm very happy with my TTCM and now my RAFA. I know that they're like sketchier companies. Like I think all these companies are going to fail. By the way, notice we're talking about our gains with patterns and strategies, not saying this is a good company, this is a bad company. All these companies suck, okay? Do you agree on that?
Yeah.
Right?
I never even like read the fundamentals or anything. Like I'm basically just trading the technicals.
Well, if you just expect the worst, you're never disappointed.
And
I know that's a cynical
why
way
I'm so cynical towards the stocks. I'm better at going long because I think that all the stocks are really bad. So when they start going against me and I'm long, I can immediately cut because I'm scared that they're going to go to zero.
That's a good way to think.
But with short selling, you're like, oh no, this stock's junk, so you want to hold on to it, and that's just a toxic mindset that will get you in trouble.
That's actually a really good point. I've never heard that. That makes sense. So being cynical helps you on the long side because you're so scared, but being cynical on the short side gives you too much confidence. Because I can't tell you how many shorts are like, no, this company has warrants, it's going to go down. And then it squeezes 300%. They're like, but the warrants, but the fundamentals. Like DRYS, when it went from 5 to 100 plus, one of the worst fundamentally flawed companies in a while. And yet it still went up 20 times in a week.
Price action is key.
Well, but it's also short squeeze. I mean, so do you notice now, right now, mid-2019 versus like 2018 or 2017, there's a lot more squeezes. And the squeezes are bigger. That's what I start seeing, right? Like, you don't just, back in, especially before you guys began, 2016, 15, 14, you would have stocks, they would go from like 1 to 4 and then back down. So like 4 times your money, that would be max. But now you're seeing stocks go from like 1 to 10 or 2 to 20 or like, what was it, BPTH 2 to 70 plus.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Like, that's crazy. So shorting is very scary. And if you're cynical about fundamentals, that actually makes you more aggressive as a short seller and increases your risk. So being a cynic as a short seller is dangerous.
Exactly.
I don't know. That's what I think. Hey, Tim Sykes, Millionaire Mentor and Trader. Thank you for watching my videos. I hope that they help you. I want to share everything that I've learned over the years. You can check out more videos right over there. And also click subscribe so that you can watch all of these videos, get that knowledge, and become my next millionaire student.